Hey again, it's Christina from Sunshine and Flora. So in this video, I want to give you a quick walk around my grow room. It is the end of March 2025. I've got a lot of seeds started, mostly cut flowers, but some vegetables as well. So I thought I would just give you guys an update on how everything is doing and what is growing. So let's just start at the beginning. So first of all, my grow room is in the basement of my retail shop. This is the very first year that I am doing my seed starting down here. A little bit of a backstory. About a year and a half ago, we purchased this building. We did an entire full renovation, and now we have a retail shop, and the basement acts as a grow space. So I can do all of my seed starting down here. My grow space is down here. All of my hydroponic and soil forced winter tulips are down here. It has just been awesome, but right now I am mainly concentrating on the seed starting. So I have two full seed racks over here of cut flowers, and then we'll bounce to the other end where I have a whole rack that is vegetables and cut flowers. So the first one that I want to show you is this tray of yarrow, and boy, this really just came to life. I find that when you give them a good bottom watering, sometimes that just triggers the upward growth. And I think these grew an inch this week. This is the yarrow pastel, this side of the tray. And then this is the yarrow red, I think maybe the summer berries. Yarrow's a perennial in my area. And so I'm really going to be adding a lot of yarrow to the garden this year. So these next two trays still have the humidity domes on them because I'm waiting for a little more germination to happen, but I will pull this off just to show you. For some reason on this one, the center of my tray really dried up, and this tray is not looking the best. I'm probably going to end up popping out the good ones. There's a lot of them right in here. These are the Goldilocks Rudbeckia. This area is pretty empty. And then there is more Goldilocks Rudbeckia here. There is grass here. Get rid of that. But there's a lot right in here. I really watered the center of this tray because I was hoping I'd see a few more sprout. But I don't know if that's going to be the case. So I think actually I'm going to turn this heat mat off and we're just going to leave this one uncovered. Let's go ahead and uncover this one though. And I'm probably going to hold the camera closer for the rest of this video because I want you guys to be able to see the plants really well. Oh, this tray's looking a little bit better. This is all status. So I have apricot status here and then blue status on this end. And look, you can really see some nice plants here. This is actually the Forever Silver. Some of these dried out as well, so they died off. But overall, probably 75% of the tray is full, so those are looking good. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this heat mat off, and then we'll bounce down to the next shelf. Okay, so moving on to the third shelf of this grow shelf, and I need to go ahead and raise these lights up a little bit. This is a full tray of Sahara Rudbeckia, and there's really good germination throughout the whole tray. This is Sahara Rudbeckia here, and towards the back of the tray, there's Prairie Sun. Again, for some reason, the center of my tray on this one dried out. I haven't watered to see if any more sprout. I am not hopeful, but honestly, the little bit of Prairie Sun that is the back of that tray, I am fine with because usually bugs eat the Prairie Sun also. Now this is a tray of Gomphrena that I just started. It looks like the QIS Orange and the Carmine. So those are coming up nicely. And then if we move down to the bottom, this is a tray of Ageratum, and that has really good germination. In fact, a lot of the cells have double plants, so I could even thin those out to transplant as well. And then we'll move this into the light. This is a really nice looking tray of Feverfew. I'm probably going to be potting these up so that the plants get a little bigger before I plant them out. This is a very, very sad tray. This half was the Columbine Barlow mix, and I wasn't getting anything coming up, so I just kind of let it go. And then I set it back here and forgot about it. But I do have two really nice plants of echinacea and one nice feverfew plant. So I pretty much just need to pull this out, pot those up, and then be done with the rest of this tray. Then the last tray here, this is more of that columbine barlow mix, and I do have some plants coming up here. So I'm going to keep the humidity dome on this and let this go a little bit longer. The columbine can take up to 20 days to germinate, so I'm gonna just let this go and see if I get any more. One note about the columbine, I think that you have to do cold stratification on it. Also, my seeds were pretty old, and that is something that I'd really like to get developed in the garden because it can be a really early spring bloom. I think what I need to do is I just need to order plugs for it. So that's going to be on my list for either this fall to plan out or next spring, and then I won't have to worry about the seeds starting. All right, let's move on to this grow shelf because there are some really good looking plants on this shelf. Okay, so this first tray is some petunias, and you can see I'm having some algae problems. These actually I'm going to be potting up, so they'll be just fine, and all of my flowers need watered as well, so if they look a little dry, don't judge. But this is a velour, I think burgundy petunia, and I started these really late this year, but I'm going to keep them growing and just see how big they get. This is an old packet of stock. I wanted to see if I got any germination from it. Not a lot. I don't know if that'll even get planted out. This is a tray last week that I started of chimney rudbeckia, and there's real good germination throughout the whole tray. So those will keep growing on. Then I've got another tray of gomphrena. We're getting germination in all the cells for those. And then this to the back, this is the lemon basil. And again, the center of my tray dried out, but I've got real good plants around the edge. Some of my trays just really dried out in the center, and I'm wondering if my humidity domes weren't on very good, but this is a plant that I want to experiment with this year, and most of the cells actually have two plants. So I will have enough because I can pop these into the center, make sure I keep them watered, and I'll have a full amount of what I wanted for those. So then moving down, here's a nice looking tray of strawflower. This is the cranberry strawflower, new from Johnny's this year. Real excited for that. And then look at this tray. This is a really nice looking tray of Snapdragons. And then another really good looking tray of strawflower. I have 3 different colors in here. No, this is Status, sorry. Actually, this is Status and Rudbeckia. So it looks like at the back here, there's some Goldilocks Rudbeckia. And then from the front to that is Status. I have pastel, silver, and blue. So those are looking nice. And then moving on down, I have a really good tray of Snapdragons. Another really good looking tray of Snapdragons. And then at the back, look at this tray. On the left is Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus, and on the right is Honeywort. And oh my goodness, they are all looking so good. I need to definitely pot up the Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus into 4-inch pots, and then the Honeywort I need to transplant or thin those out. But gosh, that tray's looking really good. And then this is one I just started. This is more of those velour petunias. And I have one tray of Fama White Pincushion flowers. These also need to get separated and potted up into 4-inch pots, but looking really, really good. So before I show you the last grow shelf, in the center of the basement here, I have a bunch of tulips, and these are going to be ready for Easter. I have 7 crates of soil force tulips, and you can see some are further along than the others, but they all look to be coming up really nice. And then I had a few hydroponic bulbs left. The hydroponic bulbs, those were past their prime, but I decided to start them anyway. I'll throw a picture up on the screen. They're not looking as good. I actually have one tulip upstairs that bloomed yesterday that I just put in a vase. But what I'm really expecting for Easter are these soil tulips. Easter's April 20th. I have about 22 days left. They're definitely in the right window. They should bloom in time. Now, before I show you this last grow shelf, which is a mix of cut flowers and vegetables, I do want to mention I have my first delivery of plugs coming next week from Farmer Bailey. And in that delivery, I think are 3 plug trays of Snapdragons and 3 plug trays of Lizzie-anthus. Now, some of those will get planted in the hoop house and some of those will get planted outside. I haven't quite decided what will go where and how many will go where. But I do know that those will be getting planted partially next week because the hoop house is growing like crazy, so I can definitely put plants in there. Maybe I will end up putting all of the Snapdragons in the hoop house. I've had really good luck with Snapdragons in the hoop house, and I have plenty of Snapdragons that I've started to go outside. So we'll just kind of see what I decide and what they look like. But I will be sharing that in an upcoming video. But let's hop over and I want to show you this last grow shelf. So the last grow shelf is nice and full. Again, it's part cut flowers and part vegetables. And these are just the plastic shelves that I get from a home improvement store. They are the 24-inch deep. Don't get the 18, they're too narrow. Get the ones that are deeper than that. And then the lights that I use are shop lights. I try to get the ones that are 4,000 lumens. No need to get the fancy grow lights. Shop lights work just perfect. I've used them for years and it works just great. All right, so looking at this first shelf, this is a 72 cell tray of peppers. These got a little bit leggy. They're looking good. There's a lot of different kinds here. My husband started all of the peppers. He grows mostly hot peppers. He uses them in cooking, but he also ferments them and makes his own hot sauce. So we have a lot of peppers started. This is a tray of yarrow. They're sprouting nicely. Started a little bit late, but they'll be just fine. It looks like it's more of the summer berries and more of the summer pastels. And then I have another tray of strawflower. Looks like it's the white, fireball, and the golden yellow. Moving down to the next shelf, this is more strawflower. Looks like the king orange. I'm growing a lot of strawflower this year, mostly for dried flowers, the most that I have ever grown. So stay tuned for that. And then these are all vegetables. And I want to talk about why I start them in these 4-inch pots a little bit. Okay, so in these 4-inch pots, I have tomatoes, peppers, and onions. Let me see. These are peppers. These are the peppers. These are the tomatoes, which you can see are putting on some really good growth. Oh my gosh, they smell so good. When you haven't smelled a fresh tomato plant for like 9 months, oh my gosh, it smells so good. This is the Sakura. Some of these that are not quite as far along are for outside growth, but these that are a little bit farther along, these are specific hoop house varieties that I got from Johnny's because I'm hoping to have part of the west side of the hoop house be tomatoes and peppers for hoop house production, hopefully early for the farmer's market. And then I also started some onions. So my onions are looking really good as well. And of course, these get thinned out and you plant the individual onions out in the garden. You can buy them this way, but I just like to start them in the 4-inch pots because it's much easier than seed trays. But the reason that I like to start my tomatoes and peppers is because it is so much faster. I basically put, and I think I shared this in a video, like 6 to 7 holes in here. I drop the seeds down in, and then I let them grow till actually about this point. So this is the point where I need to transplant them. These individual plants will be thinned out and put in their own 4-inch pot to continue to grow on, and they will get a nice size just like you would buy at any garden center. But it's just a much faster way for me to start the seeds versus starting them in a seed tray when I'm going to be potting them up anyway. So I have a lot of nice varieties. They're all looking really good. Some of these are looking better than my cut flower seedlings, but that's okay. So probably next week I'll be potting all of these up and I'll have to set up another grow shelf, probably one just for vegetables so I have enough room for anything, but the vegetables are looking good so far. All right, I have one more shelf to show you. Okay, so the very last trays in this grow room tour, there's one actually sitting off to the side here. That is feverfew. It doesn't need heat to germinate and it just needs light to germinate. So That's just hanging out, getting light. This tray and the next tray are more of my husband's peppers. He's going to have so many peppers. And then the last tray is, I think, one more tray of straw flower, and it's looking a little dried out. But again, today is watering day, so all of these will get thoroughly saturated. So that is going to do it for the end of March grow room tour. I hope you guys enjoyed just seeing what I have growing down here. I have one more round of seeds starting to do, which will be the 1st of April things that I start. That'll be next week. The two main items that I start the 1st of April are amaranth, which I think I'm just going to do 2 different kinds this year, and celosia. And I have a whole bunch of varieties of celosia that I'm starting this year. Fan-shaped, plumy kinds, cellway, lots of different kinds. So I'll make sure to do a video next week when I start those. But yeah, things are going really good. And combined with all of these, the perennials that I have, the bulbs that I have, the plug trays that I have, and then all the direct seeding that I'll do of zinnias and sunflowers, I think it should be a really good year. So anyway, stay tuned for a lot more as usual. Hope you guys are having a good start to the week, and we'll see you soon.